It's one of the most special days on the calendar as two nations come together to remember and honour the sacrifice and service of all Australians and New Zealanders on ANZAC Day. And the influence of rugby league always plays a part. And we have the Australian Defence Force taking on New Zealand Defence Force here at Allianz Stadium in Sydney as the curtain raiser to the Roosters and the Dragons match coming up later today. A massive occasion for rugby league and a massive day, ANZAC Day, for both Australia and New Zealand. Great to have your company on NRL.com for this fixture. Jordan Hughes with you in commentary as we get set for kickoff here. Just moments away from kickoff now in the ANZAC Day clash at Allianz Stadium in Sydney. And the weather is turning it on. What an occasion it is as we get set now for New Zealand to perform the Haka. Stage is set. The challenge has been met. Australia and New Zealand. This is a big occasion for these service men proudly representing their two nations. So much experience on the rugby league field. Of course, on the front line, there is firefighters, aircraft technicians, engineers, infantry, chefs, carpenters, all playing their part for the two service for both Australia and New Zealand. Now they come together to battle in the game of rugby league. New Zealand to kick off, running right to left on your screen. Of course, last year's result, Australian Defence Force did get the win, 22-16. So we'll be New Zealand trying to find redemption in 2025. Almost set to go here. And it's game on Anzac Day. The Australian Defence Force taking on the New Zealand Defence Force live on NRL.com for Allianz Stadium. And we'll be the Aussies with first chance. Wearing the traditional green and gold. Oh, it's a beautiful afternoon. Of course, the Roosters and Dragons coming up later today in National Rugby League Round 8 action. But it's all about the two services going toe-to-toe. So Munro is the number 9 today. He was strong in last year's encounter. Back again for more, and he finds big Lachlan Rowe up the middle. Trying to get a penalty in the opening stands, and they do just that. Good carry there in the end. Michael Wright with the carry. Now the penalty to go with it. Finds the line on the 30. So look to tap and go again here. Australia looking to mount an early charge to 60 seconds into the contest. It'll be Isaac Carpenter, the vehicle mechanic, 3 years service in the Army. And now Munro, dummies and goes straight through to Joel Munro. Great carry. He's a threat every time he touches the ball. Here's Munro looking for the quick play of the ball now. Out for Wright down the right-hand side. They travel through now. The Australians looking promising early on. Playing that one now is Cochrane. Left-hand side, once again, is Wright. Dishing it up now for Rutley. Plays out the back door. The space is there, but it can't be scooped up. And now New Zealand have the chance. There will be a knock-on on both sides. The first coming from Millard Noor down the left-hand side. A promising start there for the Australians. See the shape here. They had numbers. There was a 3-on-1 in the end. Just the pass was there to be taken, and Noor couldn't rein it in. So we'll pack down for our first scrum of the day. 2 minutes gone in this contest. To New Zealand now. They have their first chance with ball in hand after long last. Looking to find some continuity early on. The Kiwis. And just like that, it's a little error at the base there. Officer Tia. 2 years in the Army, just making a little error there. So now it sets up a promising chance for the Australians to mount an attack as we search for first points. To Munro, waiting for it. Now for BJ Rutley, the combat engineer. There's tips on the pass and straight and true is Noor. Left-hand side now. The Aussies hot on the attack. BJ Rutley shows and goes and finds the bigger man up the middle. 10 away now. ADF looking for first points. Munro, right-hand side for Wright. He's distributing out the back door on a hard line. Here's Cochrane this time after a short ball there from Crellin. Options left and right. Left the way they go. Playing short now and a big shot there from the Kiwis. Out of the line, making the hit was Hosea Tauripo. So 5 away now, the Australians. Hot on the attack now. Tim Crellin puts it on the toe and scooped up very nicely there from Ropati. And New Zealand, they survive. And a great defensive set to open the first half encounter. They've been on the back foot early on. Finally, after 4 minutes, they have ball in hand. So still 0-0 the score here at Allianz Stadium in Sydney. Waiting for it is Fred Farmita. Scored a sensational try last year, did Fred. He's the chef in the Navy for New Zealand as well. Very handy craftsman on the rugby league field as well. Tauripo straightens just inside the 40 now. Farmita back into the pocket looking for options and juggling it and making an absolute meal of it in the end was Logan Afoa. He had a look at it. He wanted to clear it away and just got it all wrong in the end. You see the replay here had all unfolded. It was back in the pocket was Logan. He had it initially, then looked up and then fell out the front door, and that is another error. 2 handling errors early on for New Zealand, gifting easy chances to the Australians in prime field position. Can they make the most of it? So now the Australians hot on the attack. What can they come up with here? Playing width to width, plenty of edge attack, and they do just that again, trying to lurk themselves on the outside through Isaac Carpenter. He's been busy in the opening exchanges. BJ Rutley standing now for Munro. He shows and goes and fires out to his number 7, Tim Crellin. Now getting involved on the outside. Here goes Symington now. And now going for the corner. And try time for the Australians. It's Isaac Ford in the corner. And they get first points. ADF. You see it here was a perfect attack. The pass here from Minovisky out to Symington. One more to Isaac Ford. It was pretty soft defence in the end, but pinning his ears for the corner was Ford, the aircraft technician. And he was a technician with his finish in the corner right there. Australia 4 points to 0, kick to come. So Joel Munro with the kicking duties from the touchline. He's brought it back a long way outside the 20. The PT instructor, 12 years in the Defence Force. And a real pioneer of this national side as well. Munro from the touchline. Can't find the target. That one goes out to the right-hand side. Score remains 4 points to 0. ADF over New Zealand in the opening 6.5 minutes. So back underway, and it's a perfect start for the Australians, and they are hot on the attack. They've dominated all the possession and territory in the opening 7.5 minutes of this contest. Good carry there from Lachlan Rowe, setting the tone from the outset. Now his fellow front row partner looking to continue the momentum. Daniel Nolan, the structural technician, 4 years in the service. Using their big bodies around the base of the ruck, finding easy meters, this time through right. So back to the pocket now for Crellin. Puts it on the toe, allowed to bounce there, and it's falling a dangerous Rob Party. He's got some work to do. He does well in the end. He scoops it back to himself, and now he gets dragged back all the way to his own try line and does well to stay in the field of play. So New Zealand now, big shot over the top, and now driving back into the tackle. Big collisions all round in this clash. This game always means plenty. Good carry there for New Zealand is Wilson. Down the skinny short side now through Falcuffa. Scored a try last year in this fixture. Did Tavita. He'll play it on the 20. Got some work to do through Tia now. Inside the 30, and they're not making many meters. They need a big boot to exit. And this time they go to their crafty number 7. Afoa holds on to it and launches it downfield. All taken there at the back. Far now, Minoviski, the Navy clearance diver. Brings it back with a bit of purpose. So Australia now setting up in some good field position, ready to dish on some more dominance if they can. Good collision over the top. Tia making his presence known. Left-hand side. Nor charges onto it, but meets a wall of black jerseys. Munro now having a crack on his own. Fires it way to Symington. Mitch Symington, the firefighter. A very talented rugby league player. Played fullback last year in the centres in 2025. Out the back door they go. Holds it up now. Rutley, shape of an obstruction. Has to just take the tackle in the end. 25 away from home. 4 points to nil the score as we approach 10 minutes gone in this first half. Munro dummies and tries to find the offload. Does eventually now for his big body. There's Rowe. He just sends a wild one out to the speedster. Now play on. He chips it back on the inside. Still alive for the Australians. Anyone's ball. And eventually New Zealand will knock it on. And that was absolute shambles from both sides. But in the end, the front row of the crossfield kick, not his best attempt, but it was play on the end forward. Did much the same. Put it back on the inside. And the error luckily came from the Kiwis. Tia. In fact, that was a big body there of Asiata. Unable to hold that one. So once again, Australia in prime attacking real estate. So Munro fires it left-hand side now. A beautiful set-piece play. There's space on the corner. Will he have the legs to go? That one's high, but it won't matter because try time for the Australians. And Daniel Higham in the corner, the Air Force technician. There was space aplenty, and all he had to do was finish the job, and he did exactly that. It was BJ Rutley, the number 6, setting the tone to show and go on the outside and finds his winger on the edge. And it's ADF dominating in the opening exchanges. 8 points to nil. Kick to come. So it's been a dominating start for the Australian Defence Force. Clinical ball in hand, the forwards making metres up the middle, and then the backs are doing what they do best. 2 tries now, both on either edge, and the wingers cashing in. Daniel Higham, the last try scorer, and it was Isaac Ford on the other side collecting 4, as Munro attempts to add the extra 2. There's the strike from out wide. This one's a better hit from the hooker, but can't find the target once more. Score remains 8 points to nil, 12 gone in this ANZAC Day clash here at Allianz Stadium. So New Zealand get us underway in this opening term. It's going to be a carbon copy even just moments ago. Lachlan Rowe from the back fence. He's been immense early on. The bruising figure. Getting through plenty of work. Now on the outside once again. That one's gone forward. The referee's found a little error. So this may be the chance that New Zealand need to get back into the contest. As you see the replay here, just chance around the left-hand side, and it was the big body trying to force the offload there, Daniel Nolan. And just coming loose in the end, so we'll set up a scrum now for New Zealand Defence Force. Can they mount some attack trying to find their opening points? So from the back of the scrum, it's 4. Who gets it away now to Falcuffer. Takes it over the 40 for New Zealand. Pressing forward. Down the skinny short side. This time through Tia Tia. 2 years in the army. In the infantry service. So playing flat at the line. That's a big shot over the top. A massive hit there from Carpenter. But still alive now for New Zealand. Back to his feet is Tia Tia. On the outside. That was immense. A huge hit as play rolls on here for Falmita. Out to the right-hand side. New Zealand now stretching the pass. Shows and goes to his Henry. And he gets squished head on there once again. Right-hand side now. New Zealand hot on the attack. Looking for their first points. That one's deflected. Now New Zealand cough it up once more. And Millard Nor ends up with it. And Australia survive the opening raid. But now New Zealand will get a chance. Popped out the front door. A sloppy error from the Australians. And now the Kiwis. 10 away on the attack. There now for Henry. Drops it back underneath for Asiata. Right in front of the sticks. 5 away. New Zealand options left and right. Fred Falmita has a go on his own. Try some dancing footwork. Can't get there. The Australian defence is up to the task so far. As Tauripo goes into dummy half. Henry shapes the pass and gets it on the outside now to Horema. So Australia have gifted a chance now for New Zealand. Can they make them pay? Tauripo at first receiver. Plays at the back door. Hits his front rower, Asiata. And that wasn't the plan. But it will be play on now for the Kiwis. Henry goes on to the right foot. Puts it in goal. It's missed on the first attempt. But scooped up on the second. It will be a goal line dropout there for New Zealand. So much better promising attack from the defence force from across the ditch. And you see the replay here. Dante Henry. Good little sight. Little kick in behind. Nor tried to knock it in the in goal. And it was Daniel Higham to clean up the scraps in the end. As we go the short restart for the Australians. The ball picked up in the end there from New Zealand. But now driven into touch. It's kept alive. Great bit of skill there from the outside back. So the New Zealand Defence Force bring it back through Makaki Wilson. He plays it. Famita drops it back underneath as Keelan Jackson takes it up towards the 10. 16.5 gone in this clash. Fred Famita, the chef in the Navy, playing out the back door. Taripo, one more now to Afoa, keeping alive through Robati. And here goes Falcuffer. He throws a speculator over the top, and that one's gone forward, says the referee, and it will come to nothing for New Zealand. The most promising set of attack we've seen. As you see the replay here, Robati, here's the danger man, and just forcing the pass over the top. There was Tavita Falcuffer. And a pass that probably didn't need to be thrown in the end. So Australia survive. So the Aussies now through the try scorer, Isaac Ford, the aircraft technician. He plays it from Munro, who's been immense in the opening exchanges. And now some space down the left-hand flank through Higham. In the Air Force is Daniel. Outside the 30 now for ADF. As we approach 17.5 gone in this first half. You see some reinforcements arrive. 17 is Connor McCabe on the field, the combat systems operator, 7 years in the armed forces. Rapati, he coughs it up. It's gone backwards, says the referee. And the referee says that's play on for New Zealand. So Tamatoa Rapati gets lucky there in the end. So score remains 8 points to nil so far in this contest. There for Tarupo. Now playing short to Wilson, who offers the pass. Outside the 30 now for New Zealand. Wilson again straightens up towards the 40. In the final back half of this first term, New Zealand need to find some points as they go to the skies. And eventually it's scooped up there from Ford. I say Ford a bit wet and slippery underfoot, we can see for the players so far in this contest. 18.5 gone. Well, it's been a frantic start from the Aussies. They've been quite relentless in attack. As Symington comes in for some work, probing at a dummy half. Mitch Symington. So Joel Munro again, playing short down the right-hand side. Now the Fens get pumping there from Michael Wright. He'll play it. Munro shapes the pass, and now Krellin goes to his halves partner, BJ Rutley, who's been the engineer on the field today. Normally the combat engineer off the field, but he's been orchestrating all the attack for ADF so far in this contest. Ropati now takes a settler. Slow ball coming there for Dante Henry as Falcuffer looks to get involved. Army operations, 13 years in the New Zealand Defence Force. Something to be commended, that is for sure. So back into the pocket now is Dante Henry, just outside the 40, plugs that one towards the corner. I believe that was outside the 40. It will be 1 bounce into touch. In fact, the referee's going to say he just was inside the 40. So 40-20 there from New Zealand. It was borderline in the end. But this may be just the moment they need to switch the momentum. Get back into this contest. 8 points to nil. 20 gone. So New Zealand tap and go. What can they offer here in attack? This is their moment. It's Keelan Jackson trying to set the tone. Trying to bully their way towards the try line. Toripo drops it back underneath. The new man on the field, Vaivela, takes it within 7 away from the try line. Famita waiting for it, sends it left-hand side. Now showing and going off. Foa has a crack on his own. Logan Ofoa gets the pass away. And now New Zealand going for the corner. And it's Tavita Falcuffer. And the referee is going to point to the spot. And New Zealand are on the board. Let's take a look at here. It was an absolute speculator over the top from Logan Ofoa. And going towards the line, it was Tavita Falcuffer. We mentioned he scored a try in last year's fixture, and he gets one today as well. New Zealand are on the ball, 8 points to 4, kick to come. To be Dante Henry. 7 years as an aircraft technician. He looks to try add the extra 2 to bridge the gap to just 2 points. To Dante Henry from the touchline. There's the strike, looking to bring that one around. It's going to fade a bit too much for Dante. And the score remains 8 points to 4, 22 and a half gone. As the ADF now forced to kick off and get things underway. So New Zealand now with a bit of a momentum. Can they switch the tide to get back into this contest? Really game on now. ANZAC Day, ADF versus New Zealand Defence Force. A game that means so much on ANZAC Day. And that's a big shot shooting up out of the line. Bouncing away from it. It was Vaivela. But it was Tim Cochran with the initial hit. Great collision in the midfield, but New Zealand now holding possession. As we see Tim Krell on the halfback down in back play as well as Henry gets to his kick. It's a wobbly one as well. And a couple of bounces in from touch. There's a bit of confusion from both sides, and it is saying it's come off a Australian hand. So once again, New Zealand get back-to-back sets, and last time they did this, they converted it into points. Can they do the same and take the lead? So flicked it out the back door now. From Vivella, he's an absolute enforcer. And a real presence on the rugby league field as he plays it 20 away from the chalk. Tauripo, the carpenter in the army. Right in front of the goalpost. Famita, right-hand side, wrapping around the corner. Cut pass. Away he goes for New Zealand, and clutching at it and coughing it up was Zane Douglas. And that's a crucial error from New Zealand, and now Australia survive, and they have to look to go 80 metres to respond. 25 minutes gone in this contest. Of course, the big clash this afternoon, Roosters and Dragons at this venue. Coming up after this match. The collisions in this contest have been ferocious early on. Just 4 points of difference as Munro looks to shift it left-hand side. Running across field in the end was Connor McCabe. He plays it just short of halfway. Munro again lurking, spots a space down the left-hand side. Off his right foot there is Noor. The offload is a good one. Back inside to Rutley. The referee is going to call it back. Looks to be forward, says the referee. Take a look at the replay here. It was a good promising play, and I believe it was close call if you ask me on both of those passes in the end. But we'll come back and it will be a New Zealand feed. So now New Zealand with the chance to attack from the scrum, and now the show and go from the get-go. So now Toripo goes into dummy half, rolling around the corner. Ropati, he's the man that can spark something for New Zealand. He takes it about 45 away from home. Trying to get some ascendancy up front for Teni Bula. He plays it. Waiting for it is Hosea Taripo. Left-hand side to Vivella. Tries to get the feet moving. And he has spilled it. That one's all good, says the referee. And just like that, another unforced error coming against the men from across the ditch. And they are their own worst enemies so far. Have had plenty of possession in the back end of this first half, but unable to convert further points. Score remains 8 points to 4 as the Aussies take it over halfway. As Wright shapes the pass and then eventually elects to hold on to it. He plays it very slowly in the end as BJ Rutley drops it back underneath to Noor on a hard line. Trying to find some continuity. The Kiwis in their defensive structure. Now that's not the way they want to do it. The space opens up and here goes the Australians. The kick is through. Now the race is on. Symington and Ropati, but Ropati wins the race and doesn't waste any time and knocks it dead in goal. We'll have a goal line dropout. Look at the replay here. The space there. Oh, forward didn't need to do that. Shot up out of the line. The space was there for Cochrane. Puts it on the toe. Symington was coming in hot. But Tamatoa Ropati was there to save the day. But the pressure continues to mount on New Zealand. So the goal line dropout is a wobbly one. It's off a standing start. Centre field. The Australian Defence Force. What can they come up with here? As half-time approaches, Munro plays very flat on that occasion. The 16 is Jack McKenzie onto the field now for the Australians. Munro again goes to the main man, BJ Rutley. Shows and goes, has a crack. Rutley on his own. Rutley on the outside. He does it all on his own. BJ Rutley. But the referee says that is no try. It's going to come all the way back. BJ Rutley thought he had the moment. I believe it's been called back. In fact, it was a knock on over the in-goal area. We're seeing there from the referee. And BJ Rutley did all the hard work in the end. Couldn't get it done as we come back to live action now. It's New Zealand bringing it out of their own end. It was an absolute masterclass from the 5'8". New Zealand survived, keeping it within 4 points. So now Dante Henry for a foul this time. Drops it back underneath and now juggling it and eventually taking up Lotu Lele. His first real touch. The man in the Navy, the Marine technician. Roosters fan as well. He'll be happy to see his side in action later today as Robati beats the first. And now Robati goes through the middle. Robati gets collected very high. He lost his footing, but well and truly above the neck there. And Tamatoa Robati is an absolute live wire. He gets back to his feet and gets the penalty for his side. Definitely a high shot there. See the back end of it there. He did well to get back to his feet. And New Zealand are going to point towards the post here. They want to have 2 points on the score sheet. It's right in front. 30 out. And their intent shows they want to win this contest. Scoreboard pressure is what it's all about. But Tamatoa Robati, he is the absolute threat in this New Zealand side. Anytime he touches the ball, he asks questions of the defence. So Dante Henry, 30 metres out right in front, Allianz Stadium, as the crowd begins to make their way in for the NRL match later this afternoon. Can Henry bridge the gap? There's the strike, and it goes straight through the poles, and the flags go up. And New Zealand and the first half on the right note, and it's game on here at Allianz. Half time, Australian Defence Force 8, New Zealand Defence Force 6. Second half action coming up right after this. Welcome back to NRL.com's live coverage here on Anzac Day as we get set for second half action coming up. It's just 2 points the difference between these two proud nations and two proud defence forces. And this game has plenty of feeling in it so far. It's been entertaining and plenty of skill on show as well. Australia to kick things off to get back into second half action. So we are rolling in second half here at Allianz Stadium. New Zealand will have their first chance of ball in hand. And charging up out of the line, making their presence felt. To Spencer on the field as well. He's a big body. Look out for him to make some inroads as this game gets down to the pointy end of the contest. Vivella moves it up the middle. Collected pretty high in the end. Lock and row around the shoulders. And that is a slow play the ball for New Zealand, but still maintaining possession. Now Vivella loses his footing on the way down. Inside the 40 and not many metres made so far. Need to get a big kick here. Alfoa under a bit of pressure. Flicks it out the back door. Tauripo. Now Robati. He's got the dangerous feet. Now flicks it out the back door. Play on now for New Zealand. Chancing their arm in their own end. And it will be caught. And that will be very luckily given a penalty from New Zealand for that high shots. Now they can escape and find some good territory. So New Zealand now ready and raring to go. They can score first in this second half. That'll really put the pressure on now. Back-to-back penalties. So Australia on the back foot as New Zealand get a bit confident here. That's a wobbly kick there from Alfoa and does make the touchline just. So they'll tap and go on their own 40 now. New Zealand. Through Spencer. Making his presence known. So left-hand side they go. Vivella, he's been very busy in the opening term and now continuing into the second. So New Zealand hunting for first points in this second half. Henry tips the pass away and Harima stands in the tackle and tries to fend away from 2 and 3. $15 away now. New Zealand on the attack. Can they find the pivotal score? Henry leaves that one behind. It's gone backwards, says the referee. Play on now for Logan Alfoa. Goes the crossfield kick. Finds a bit of space in behind. Forward has to go looking for it, but the touchline will win the race. We'll come all the way back out to the 20. Good patience there, and in the end, New Zealand couldn't find the answers, and the score remains 8 points to 6. 3 gone in this second half. Just a reminder, last year's fixture was ADF with the victory, 22-16. And was a physical encounter. New Zealand are trying to get one back this year. As Australia now tried to chance her on the left-hand side. The referee is going to say that one's gone forward. So they cough it up. And now New Zealand have a chance to go again. But a number of errors creeping in the Australians' game so far. So it's there for Tauripo. Now Logan Alfoa, 10 years in the army for the playmaker. This man is absolutely electric, Rob Party. My goodness, he's good to watch. Tamatoa Rob Party is absolute weapon with ball in hand. They got the left-hand side there, try scorer. Falcuffer. Still going is the centre. So abrasive in contact. Always up to the task. So New Zealand now 20 away. Let's look to lift the tempo here. They're tracking nicely in this second half. 5 minutes gone. Just 2 points the difference. Waiting for it. Down the right-hand flank. Caught there in the end was Spencer. He plays it 5 away. Big moment right now in the nature of this contest. Dante Henry is waiting for it. That's the way they go. Henry sends the cut pass away to Douglas. He's wrapped up, ball and all. There for a party. Quick hands down the right-hand side. And unable to find a way through in the end. But still alive now for New Zealand. Crossfield kick in coming there from Douglas. The chase is on. Off the woodwork. Play on the call. New Zealand now flinging left-hand side. And it's bobbled out the front door. And after all that, it lands in the arms of Minovisky. What a passage of play. Let's have a look at it one more time. The crossfield kick off the post in the arms of Falofa. And he had numbers out wide. They were screaming for it. He didn't relieve the pass. And the error arrives. Crazy scenes here at Allianz Stadium as we come back to live action now as Australia are moving their way up the field. This is what it's all about. Skill on show and plenty of passion. Jaden Farrell Minovisky, the Navy clearance diver. As a carry out the middle, trying to relieve some pressure off his forwards. Now he is the big bopper. Charging his way through. What a carry and what an offload back on the inside. Still play on until that last pass. The error arrives once more. But the skill on show from these men are on full display. Look at this here. Daniel Nolan. He's an absolute freight train of ball in hand and gets the offload away. And Minovisky, that's a poor error from the fullback. Should have held on to that and had a real crack. Tavita Falcuffer shows and goes, trying to stay patient now are the Kiwis. To the right-hand side they go. The collision once again is abrasive, trying to keep it moving, but chopped down, ball and all there from Nolan. James Falelofa, he's trying to get heavily involved in this contest. He's a live wire. Here's the number 2. Playing it now is Hosea Toripo. And the referee's found a little error in that one. And that's frustrating there for New Zealand. And they will cough it up. So it pops out the right-hand side. So now Australia, they had their first real chance of ball in hand in this second half in some great field position. Lachlan Rowe lose his footing there. Was the new man on the field. Viliami Manu races to get involved. Left-hand side down through Isaac Carpenter. He laid out some massive hits in that first half. But this time, he makes an error. Does Isaac? See the replay here. Where's the left-hand side that went? BJ Rutley holds it up. Just having a look here where the errors come. Tough call, I think, in the end for the Australians, but in the end, it will be New Zealand's ball. This is still anyone's game here at Allianz Stadium. ANZAC Day in the National Rugby League. As Keelan Jackson goes up the middle now, relieves the pass as Harema, the physical training instructor in the Navy, the number 12. He'll play it inside the 40. So now for Dante Henry, dropping it back underneath to Falelofa. He is an absolute excitement machine, this young man, as James plays it on the 30. Now the right-hand side, they go. Famita puts it on the toe and behind. The race is on. The race is won by New Zealand and going straight over. What a try. What a moment. And here's Wilson with the try. And New Zealand take the lead for the first time in this match. That was sensational. The grubber in behind. And look at the speed from Wilson. He came out of nowhere. Ran straight past Higham and said, thank you very much. I'll add 4 more to the score sheet. Makaki Wilson. With the try. Now it's 10 points to 8. Kick to come. New Zealand with the lead. Important kick now for New Zealand. Dante Henry lining this one up from the touchline to make it 4 points the difference. 10.5 gone. It's all happening here at Allianz Stadium. What a try that was. New Zealand have found a new energy and spark in this second half, and they're showing all their talents on show. So Dante Henry from the touchline. Moving in, there's the strike, trying to fade that one around. The strike isn't bad, the direction is good, but distance not so much. The score remains 10 points to 8, 11.5 gone in this defence force fixture. And we are set up for a grandstand finish. So back moving once more. And all of a sudden the momentum has shifted all the way to New Zealand in this fixture. And you see the velocity of the two powerhouse forward packs going head to head. As we approach, heading towards the final 15 minutes of this contest. Vivella, he's been strong since coming onto the field. He plays it outside the 30. Left-hand side they go. Famita leaves it behind, and that one is another costly error. New Zealand, their own worst enemies again. They're just gifting chances to the Australians time and time again. Take a look at this one here. Miscommunication from both sides. Logan Afol was not expecting that one. Thought he was going to go to the front man, and Famita went straight to his playmaker, and he coughed it up. So the Aussies on the attack. Can they make them pay through Nor this time? So waiting for it at the back door. Finds BJ Rutley. Tips the pass away to Carpenter. Takes it into wide inside the 20 now. 2 points the difference. This is where it matters most. Playing down the left-hand side is Manu. Viliami Manu, the transport driver in the army. He plays it 9 away now. Big moment for the Aussies. Right hand side, Krellin plays at the back door. Minovisky straightens and tries to bounce away from a couple of New Zealand defenders. Can't do so. He plays 8 away. So therefore the playmaker, Tim Krellin, shows and goes, gets clobbered for his efforts. And that one's kicked away from New Zealand. Now it's anyone's ball, and eventually it ends up with Australia. He's driven into touch. It was Daniel Higham. That's a big play from New Zealand. We will come all the way back. Whether you company, whether you may be watching on NRL.com. What a fixture, what a day of rugby league. And there's still all to play for. It's a false start there from the Australians. We'll come back and try that one again. At the back there for Viliami Manu. He tips the pass away to his big man, Daniel Nolan. So hard to stop. So the Australians now, this is where they do their best work. BJ Rutley holds it up for Noor. He gets squished. Ball and all there from Farmita. Waiting for it now is BJ Rutley. Sends it. Out to Manu. Shows on the first, then tips the pass away. Of a standing start in the end for Nolan. Just stands in the tackle. Right in front of the goalpost. Options left and right. Viliami Manu waiting for it. Goes right hand side. Now for Krellin. Tips the pass away. Now trying to bounce his way on the outside is Cochrane. Reaching and denied. Tim Cochrane. He'll play it right on the try line. Lockenroll's waiting for the big boy. He won't get it. Krellin out the back door. Now for Rutley. Rutley attacks the line. BJ Rutley can't escape. Defence. And Famita around the bootlaces. Fifth and final now for the Australian Defence Force. Manu now for Krellin. Puts a bit of a nothing kick there, and that is not the play they're after on fifth and final. And is scooped up of a standing start. Disappointing finish there for the Aussies. But again, the defence of New Zealand up to the task, and they still hold that 2-point lead. So bringing it out of their own end now, Falofa. Would carry initially, now bouncing his way through traffic on the outside. Just going to keep their patience here, trying to hold that momentum and maintain possession. Here's an opportunity down the middle. Good meters there once again. James Valeli Offa, he has been so dynamic since coming onto the field. Tries the chip over the top now, finds a bit of clear space, but they're in cover. And now Minovisky will look to bring it back, but will come all the way back. The referee's found a penalty in there to New Zealand off the ball. Shoulder charge hit, the call from the referee. And it's a big play. In this clash, it looked to be against Michael Wright there. You see he's arguing the question, but the referee is right there. Discipline an issue. It's away. New Zealand. Zane Douglas taps and goes of a standing start. Just trying to get to the middle as Keelan Jackson sets up the platform. Famita plays it left-hand side, straighting Asiata on a hard line, putting some pressure on the big bodies of the Australians. Looking for points here. Oh, the Kiwis rolling around the corner. Now Douglas straightens, Zane Douglas. 11 years in the service, the clearance diver. He'll play it. 5 away now. Dante Henry off a reaching start, jamming up out the line there, and a big shot over the top. It had to be made. It was in the end from Rowe. And a bit of after as well. The two props going head to head. This time, Lachlan Rowe wins that battle. There will be a changeover and a turnover to the Aussies. So Symington on the outside, tries to go lateral to go forward. Here goes Mitch Symington. He's got some wheels about him. Symington trying to carve his way through, but he runs out of room. Ropati cuts him down around the legs. That was pretty audacious from Symington. The fend, the palm, and then the space on the outside. Probably should have cut him off his right foot about now, but held on to that tough line, and Ropati chops him down in cover. Low ball coming there for New Zealand, trying to look to finish the job here as we approach the final 10 minutes of action. 2 points the difference between these two powerhouses. As the crowd begins to fill the stands here at Allianz, getting ready for the big dance later on this afternoon. What a game they're coming in to witness in the final 10. Good defence there from Dylan Rowe. The referee says that's all good as tries to rip it away from Famita. So Fred will play it just outside the 20. A standing start for the offer. Gets it away to Asiata. He's a gunner in the army. 3 years of service for the big man. He plays it. Left hand side they go. A standing start for Rapati. Cut pass on the air. Puts it on the toe. It bounces off the Australian hand. So it will be a New Zealand ball once more. So New Zealand now a chance to potentially put the final nail in the coffin here. Big moment coming up for the Kiwis. Just 5 away. Dante Henry, he's the main man. Plays short once again to Douglas. Takes it, ball and all, inside the 5. Now Dante Henry tries some fancy footwork in the fend as well. Can't escape the graph there of Manu. Waiting for his Famita. Left-hand side, playing very flat at the defence. The line speed is good, but keeping it alive now. The New Zealand Kiwis reaching out short in the end. He's dropped it in the end. Keelan Jackson, it was there for him. Let's take a look at this one more time. He just couldn't get his grip right on the ball. Look out for the big number 10 here. Gets the ball, the footwork, reaches here, he scores, and just losing it at the final hurdle. That is as close as it gets. Era Keelan Jackson. That was his moment. And Australia survive once more. So now look to bring it out from their own end. This time through Milad Noor. What a grinding affair we have seen for both of these sides. And the physicality has been top notch from both sides. Final 8 minutes in this contest. Who will come out on top? This is where the big moments, this is where these men stand up. And every single one of these men on this field know what it's like to be in high pressure situations. And now back on the inside through right this time. Flicks out the back to that's a speculator, but there for Manu. Takes it on the 40. This is 5th and final. Long pass out to Krellin. He floats it away now to Symington. Symington's got some room to move. Finds his winger. Forward. Puts it on the toe. Back on the inside. Rapati's there and he's safe. As he always is. Tries to dance away from the oncoming traffic. Can't do so. He'll play it inside his own 10. Tamatoa Rapati has been causing absolute havoc all afternoon. Whether it's attack, defence, he asks questions. And is he going to be the man to stand up and put this one to bed? They've got some work to do. They've got some distance to cover to New Zealand. James Faleofa. He's been impressive. The man in the headgear. Flick it away to the left-hand side. Still there for Famita. Loganov forward. Tries to dance away from the first, can't escape the grasp, but gets the offer away to Famita. This is 5th and final. They need to get a kick here. The Douglas going to back himself on the outside, gets away from his opposite number, shows it on the inside, flicks it back to the try-scorer Wilson. Still alive now for New Zealand. Still 5th and final. Wilson surging forward. The offer is a good one. He goes Rapati off his right foot. Play on to the referee. That one's gone backwards. Now the kick comes downtown. It's chipped forward, and eventually it'll be scooped up, ball and all from Higan. Wow. The Kiwis happy to chance their arm from anywhere. In the end, it's not a bad result from the man across the ditch. But now they've coughed it up, South Australia. Now here's an opportunity for New Zealand. Back on the inside, going for the pivotal score and cut down in the nick of time was Harema. But New Zealand now, this is their moment. 5 away from full time and 5 metres away from the pivotal score. Gillan Jackson takes it down. Australia again coughing it up in dangerous territory. Left hand side they go. Ropati sends a money ball out wide on the bounce. Can't be controlled. And probably didn't need to be forced in the end. It was an awkward distance. You see the replay here. Fred Farmita. And a rare error from the fullback. He just had a look here and he sent it wide through the hands. Probably would have done the job in the end. If we come back to live action here, the score remains 10 points to 8. 5 to play in this matchup. Both sides have been gifting plenty of chances. Unforced errors are plenty in this contest as Manu plays the dangerous game, sends a floater out wide but scooped up in the end. And now they're happy to play hot potato. The Australians now back with Minovisky. Just over halfway now as Sam Collins plays it, getting to his kick. There's Tim Crellin, that's good experience. He's having to plug the corner, but they need points. They're going to make it very hard for New Zealand to work it out of their own end. So 4 minutes to play in this matchup. New Zealand looking for redemption from their 2024 result and hold a 2-point lead as it stands right now with ball in hand. And again, it is the centre, Tavita Falkafa, asking questions. Always does the tough stuff. Plays it left-hand side, Asiata. Making some inroads up the middle. So New Zealand happy to wind down the clock here as we get to the final 3 minutes. Harema, they were down 8 points to nil early on, but they just fought their way back into the contest. And the ANZAC spirit on full display. Chip and chase over the top, it works out well. Here goes Wilson, keeping alive on the inside. Here goes Ropati! And Ropati will put this one to bed for New Zealand. Tamatoa Ropati, he deserves a try. And what a moment for New Zealand. That is absolutely scintillating stuff, and it is you-know-who Ropati. He will be the one to win the match for New Zealand. That is as good as it gets. It was Wilson on the outside. He summed it up perfectly. The draw and pass. And Ropati was rapid. Score now 14-8. Kick to come. What a performance this has been from the New Zealand defence force. They've stayed in the fight, dominated possession in the second half, and they're going to come away with a huge win here at Allianz Stadium. What a day, what an occasion. So Henry looking to have the final say. Knocks it over and 2 more for New Zealand. Score now 16 points to 8. Just over 30 seconds left to play. Australia need the short kickoff, need to get this ball back. They won't do so. It's well taken for Emma. He's been unreal this afternoon as New Zealand now can wind down the clock in this matchup. It's been an absolute sensational performance from the men across the ditch. And aren't they happy with this result? They've stayed in the fight and the collisions up front. Dominated in every aspect. Look at what it means. The New Zealand Defence Force, champions here on ANZAC Day, taking down the Australian Defence Force. Full-time score, 16 points to 8. What a performance from New Zealand. They were down 8 points to 0 early on, and they fought all the way back in a well-deserved victory. And what a way to get ANZAC Day underway, and what is an absolute smorgasbord of rugby league. Incredible contest. New Zealand are the champions on ANZAC Day, and they get their redemption from last year. That about wraps up our coverage of this fixture. New Zealand on top. Full-time score 16 points to 8. Thank you for your company. My name is Jordan Hughes. Until next time, bye for now.